Well, good morning and welcome to Coffee with the Coach.
Good morning,
Today,
Tony.
good morning, Dr. Milu.
Good morning.
Today we're going to talk about aspirations and how we need to continue to keep in touch with our aspirations. And what's the difference between aspirations and goals and mere ambition? So let's talk about this today. So ambition is constantly changing as we age. Would you not agree?
Yes.
I mean, as a young adult, we have youth and vigor and no responsibilities ahead of us. And we have an ambition that is just much more, we've got that spark of youth in our life. And I see it in my daughter and her husband right now. They just are going after life with a gusto. And I remember those days of youth, and the world is available to you in any way you want to proceed to go after it. And that spark that you have in your youth moves you forward. And I recall at that early ages in college, in the career counseling, they would always say to set your goals, to write your goals down on paper and to revisit them every so often. And those goals in a bigger way are aspirations, are they not? The difference is your aspirations tend to be more long-term in their nature, and your goals can be shorter term. And as we age, I think responsibility starts to kick in, and we leave our parental safety net, and we're on our own. And as we start to take on this responsibility, it starts to weigh down a little bit on your aspirations. Your aspirations may change because life happens. And life may be happening to you right now. So how can you get back in touch with aspiration when life happens? And as we get older, now my stage in life, and our children are off into the world, and our load of responsibility is lightening a little bit. We still have our responsibilities, but are we in touch with our aspirations? Are we still writing them down? And I think that's the key to aspirations. I always in my youth knew what my goals were, but I never wrote them down. And tell me, doctor, is there some magic to when you write something down on paper?
Well, very well. Before we go into all that discussion, let's cheers to coffee. This is Coffee with the Coach. And as you can see, my virtual background is actually, we're sitting in a coffee bar. How about that?
It's lovely.
How do you like that, Tony?
I think it's a very nice background. As you move with your coffee cup, it kind of distorts, but it's I don't think you should have let us in on that. What part of Europe are you in?
Well, how about Italy, or how about Sicily, right?
There you go.
So very well, very well. Good morning, everybody, and good morning, Tony. So sitting on my virtual coffee shop, there is a reason for me to start this coffee shop today, because we are discussing aspiration. Aspiration, the meaning of aspiration, and if you look it up in Google, and that's where I did, a hope or ambition of achieving something. A hope or ambition of achieving something. So in a virtual world right now, I would like to be in a coffee shop. And guess what? In a virtual reality, we are making it possible using Zoom. So when we are talking about a hope and ambition of achieving something is where aspiration come into play. And your question, Tony, matches with that. Why so? Right? Because without a hope, think about life without a hope.
Hopeless.
Hopeless. So very easy answer, and it's in our Zeno and Vision positivity module. The hopeless is the negative word that you replace with hope. So goals, objective, achievement of those comes into a picture of what we do. And we always look at the future. So think about when you talk about goals. Goal is looking at future. It's not right now or at this moment. It's something in the future.
Well, and I think we wake up each day and we set a goal for the day. What do I want to get done today?
Mm-hmm.
Goals are a little bit more short term.
It could be short term, it could be long term, depends upon what type of goal you are doing. And in aspiration module, with the Vino and Vision, that's what we do. We not only look at your recent goals, we look at your futuristic goals and objective and all those things. Where you want to be? We can take it in 10 years, we can take it into 20 years. We want to see the future. We want to see what is the end look like. We talk about obituary in our aspiration module.
How so? You talk about obituary in your aspiration module.
Yes. Just think about our way of coaching is starting with the end in mind. So if you know where the end is, you set your course, you set your goals, set your objectives to that. Well, right now looks like my aspiration to be in a coffee shop, and behind me is a barista, and let me see if I can move around. See the barista behind me making a coffee. Making a coffee, and I don't know whether you saw the barista right there behind me making a coffee. This is the aspiration we are talking about. We are talking about virtual reality. Future is unknown. And setting goals and objective is unknown. And when something unknown, how do you shape it?
Well, to my last question that I posed to you, is there something magical, something that happens with the mind when you write something down on paper to look at it?
Yes.
When you commit it to writing.
Yes, and I was getting to that. The reason is, as you can see in front of me, I have a piece of paper, which you may not see right now, but that one is, it's a magical paper. That's very, very nicely said. So why you write things down is the magic that we are doing in Vino and Vision. We are calling it activity-based coaching, initiating your right side of thinking compared to your left side of thinking. Left side of thinking is logical, and the right side of thinking is emotional. So when you are writing things down, your brain is telling your fingers to act certain way. And you taking a pen and holding it on your hand, and that makes it an activity. So writing is an activity. You are doing an activity. A drawing is an activity. As you write, you change.
How so?
Because you can see it. So we have some visual capability as well. So just imagine that for a second, Tony. We are using this barista in the coffee bar as a visual to open your imagination. So think about that for a second. So we have senses, and every senses we have, and you can speak, that's a sense. You can smell, that's a sense. You can hear, that's a sense. You can touch, that's a sense. You can write, that's a sense. If I pinch you, you can feel, that's a sense. So all of these senses are activated by activity. All of these senses are activated by activity. So think about when you write things down, you are actually telling your brain, and remember, the brain is the central point of all activity. Your brain, so if my brain tells me to raise the finger or raise the hand, that's what I'm doing. Without the help of my brain, I cannot do that. So talk to a person who just had a brain stroke and paralyzed because their brain is not capable of telling body parts to act. So emotion drives your brain to work. And if that's work happening, you telling your finger to hold the pen, start writing. And as you write things down, it also corrects you as you go. So your right side of the brain, which is the emotional side of the brain, working with your logical side of the brain, which is the left side of the brain, and creating something different. And that's what the importance of writing things down. And the second importance of writing things down, as you can see behind me, in the bar, as you can look at the menu they have on the wall. So somebody can come look at the menu and say,
You can
well,
refer back to it. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, you refer back to it. So it's called having that menu or choices in front of you. So writing things down and correcting it over time gets you where you want to go.
So as you write down your goals or your aspirations, and life distracts you on a daily basis because life happens, you can pick up that menu again of your goals and aspirations and realign yourself to get back on track to what you wanted to create. Or you might realize that life has changed in some way, and maybe you need to adjust your aspirations differently, or you've changed.
Very nicely said. And remember, the aspiration is our strategic dimension. It's one of the component of in strategy dimension. We have aspiration, vision, and goal. And dream. Aspiration, vision, and dream. Those are the three modules for our aspiration. Strategic mindset module. So this creates a strategy for you based on the aspiration. And then we move into vision, and which we'll be doing next month. And then we move into the dream, which is a completely fascinating world in a strategy. So as talking about this menu, I know restaurant industry been heavily impacted right now, but we all love going to a restaurant, whichever it is, and having our favorite food. And when you go to the restaurant and you look at their menu and say, oh my God, what happened? The menu have shrinked and there is not the item that I was looking for. How that make you feel?
A little disappointed until you see something new and fresh that you didn't notice.
Until you find something that you like, right? So the menu is just that. It's a visual representation of what is in the kitchen, what the chef is cooking today. And out of that, you choose what you want. An aspiration is that exactly that, a hope or ambition of achieving something. But you have to write things down to tell people or tell yourself, this is what I want. This is where I want to be 10 years from now or 20 years from now. And then you go and look at life after death, or looking back to the life
after death.
Well, that's a different module that I'm talking about, which is I have not introduced that. But this is actually looking back at life after death. So,
Gotcha.
yeah, because you're writing the obituary. And basically you're looking at what have you done? Now, since you are gone, you are dead, you're lying on the casket, or, your memory lying there because you maybe was burned already. But you looking at that dead body, you are looking at yourself.
What you have achieved in your life, which
Yeah.
you're known for.
Yeah, because that is the end. After that, there is another life that we'll talk about, but at some point. But in this world, that is the end of this world for you. And now you should be looking back. So that's what we call beginning with the end in mind. And if you can see it clearly where you want to be at the end, you
can achieve what you want.
Exactly. The main thing is seeing it clearly. And to see it clearly, you have to see it clearly. Your eye have to see it. So in that menu, you have to write it down so you can actually read it.
So the biggest challenge to discovering your aspirations is discovering what you truly want out of life.
Exactly. And that's where our coaching session become very powerful, because all of our Vino and Vision coaches are trained on that. And we work with you to find that menu of your life. And actually, we have a worksheet that you work with it, and we have a menu that we create using a wood board, where you can also write it and put it just like the way the barista has next to her is that menu. So you can have that menu, and at your office, you can have that menu at your home, living room, bedroom, wherever you want to keep it. And look at the menu.
And that's what you call your menu of life.
Design the life you love. The menu of my life, design the life I love. And it's not about life he loves, she loves, they love. It's life I love. So if it is your menu, it better be the life you love. And then you can live the life you love.
And that's a fabulous thing. And having participated in some of your coaching, I can attest to the skills that you bring to the table and help people to open up. But those who might not be able to participate with you, how can they also discover themselves? And I think that you have to get to a place where you can go within and truly be with yourself and find a place where you can breathe and where you can not be distracted. Often it's out in nature where you may think less. I think thinking less helps you to think more about your internal self.
Right. Well, let me clarify that for a second. So there is the concept of self-coaching, which actually is not coaching. What I call that is self-help. Means self-correcting. Basically, we see something we are not doing, we self-correct ourselves.
Realign.
realign ourselves, and we tell ourselves, well, this is what I should not be doing. This is what I should be doing. I change
But
that.
that's the hardest thing to do, is
That is
to look at yourself in the mirror
right,
and realize you're not doing something properly.
right. And that is what I call is a limited view of yourself, because your mind can go up to certain level. When you are bringing in a coach in with you, you're opening your mind to endless possibilities. It's from outside perspective. It's from different perspective. So your mind can go anywhere, but it will never have that perspective because it's coming from completely outside.
Well, I think the point is it's objective.
Yes, yes,
It's based on understanding of coaching, but you have no basis in my life, so you're not fettered with the weight of my life, and
exactly.
you can help me see more clearly the self.
Yes, the more clearly the self, and the other thing is that we are blinded by our own thought process,
Our own glimmer,
own glimmer.
our own reflection.
Exactly. And you see that in many times in if you watch American Idol, you'll see somebody go up on the stage and perform very poorly, but still walking out of the stage talking about, I will continue this dream because I think I can be the best singer of the world. So this is, we call it, we are blinded by our uh,
Light.
own light. How about that? As we do so, what we are creating is the boundary that we can never get out. And we are on our peak of thought process. But having the self-connection is what we call about mindfulness meditation. That's what we do in Vision VIP. We know in Vision VIP is you connect with yourself. And that's where called bringing the peace and joy that you need and have the quietness where you can find yourself. And those are self enhancement, self-correction, self-motivation, lot of things. And in the coaching, what we do is the outside to bring it to the inside, and then adjustment from the other side of your life, the one that you cannot reach by yourself. And with the help of a coach, with the help of a true coach who can show you the light, you now have option to go there. And in the aspiration module, that's what we do. We set your menu of life working together. It's a partnership between coach and the coachee. And once you created that menu of life with the partnership, and every 6 months or 1 year, you update it. You modify it with the coach.
Because you are changing.
You are
Life is changing.
Life change. Just think about Tony, the 16-year-old Tony, and whatever age you are now, Tony. The difference between those, Tony, is there is something happening in between. It's called experience of life that evolved you, that changed you. Your thought process today compared to that 16-year-old Tony is different.
Sure. That's that young individual has a vigor for life, and they want to attract and achieve and obtain. And as you move later into life, you realize I don't need the stuff. I need the balance in my life of happiness and what brings you happiness.
Yes, that is.
And I guess that's what the objective of all of this is to find your direction to achieve happiness.
Exactly. So, because in life, you don't want to be unhappy. If your goal and objective is to be an unhappy person, Tony, self can do that. And that's what self role is to make you unhappy. what do? We go somewhere and start crying and start blaming ourselves. I did this, I did that, right? Blame and shaming ourselves. We do that all the time. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have taken that step. If I would have done something different, my business would have been very successful by now. Those are self-doubt and self-blame.
So I said to myself, there are two of you involved here.
Uh-huh.
The you who is the moral being and the you who is in the world of doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that moral compass inside of you is the one you're speaking to.
Well, there is not only two of you, Tony, there is multiple of you. It's called multiple personality. We change based on the situation. And different Tony can show up in different places indifferently. So I'm pretty sure in one day you can find out at least 3, 4, 5 different Tonys based on the situation.
I don't think there's that many of me to go around.
Well, that is fabulous. We are having so much fun, Tony, discussing that.
Yes.
Our time is almost over.
That is correct. So we meet here on the first and third Tuesday of each month. And on the third Tuesday of March, will we continue to discuss aspirations?
This is the second Tuesday of the month. You're talking about third Tuesday. Okay, sorry, this is the first month. Yes,
No, this
is our, this is our month of aspiration.
This is
and
the
I
first.
don't know that, so if you go to the Vino and Vision page, you will see the monthly theme aspiration. All our yoga instructor, creativity instructors, all of them are doing aspiration related work. Go out to our Facebook page and you will see many of them. And if you join the Vino and Vision VIP, then you will actually experience on a regular basis, which we do on a regular basis. We have yoga every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and other activities also during the week that you can experience, and you can start connecting with yourself and connecting with the world. And we have coaches there that can help you to find the other side of you that you don't know about. Engage with the coaches, work with them, communicate with them, and start sharing. And that's really
so you could do that by going to vinoandvisionglobal.com and learning more about Vino and Vision. Mm-hmm. And right now I aspire to visit my daughter.
Fantastic.
So the next time we meet on Coffee on the Coach with the coach, I will be meeting you from my virtual reality in Lake Tahoe.
Very nice. And we should be, if you send me a virtual background of Lake Tahoe, then we can be in Lake Tahoe.
I won't have to send you. I will have that background. You can have your coffee shop background. I will use that as my background.
Talking there. So very nice to see you, Tony. Enjoy your, time with your family, and I will see you in 2 weeks.
Very good. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.